Hello, this is Rowan, and yeah, you can tell there's something weird going on here. We just updated our version of VNYAN, and we found out that all of our camera settings are weird. So we're going to have to figure out what happened here. We'll be right back. Hello, we're back, and as you can see the top of my head instead of the tips of my toes, which means we figured out what was going on and we fixed it. So we are using the newest version of VNYAN. I believe that is 1.6.8b, and Suvi's gone and done some stuff with spout cameras and stuff like that. And in the process, it would seem that the Y coordinate on my avatar, probably yours, is offset in some way. And so that brings up a little subject of how do you fix that, and how do you move your avatar into specific camera positions, and how do you align cameras really well so that they're on the spot where you need them to be. Well, I guess we'll show you. And we'll be using the spout camera to help us. Let's get to the bigger screen. There we go. And now, with the magic of having two spout cameras, there. Now I can move my avatar and not have it do weird things. So here we are. We'll send that one to be smaller. Hit the control button, drag me around. So if you remember, it looked something like this when we first loaded in. And that is because for some reason the Y variable got messed up. And basically what we had to do was we had to start by dragging our avatar to where we wanted it to be. And then of course we had to go over to the menu. Hello, menu. There it is. And go to settings. And then we had to go to miscellaneous, and you know the drill. Go to the camera, pick a camera and save it. Now, in this case, we have like 9 different cameras and they all have specific locations. So what we did was we started out with moving my avatar to a location that we knew was where we wanted it to be. Now, we could have just overwritten the camera, but we're not going to do that. This avatar coordination, the coordinates of this avatar align with camera 1, 2, I think camera 2. But basically we use cameras 1 through 9 for what we're doing. So what we'll do is we'll go to camera 12 and we'll save the current location as camera 12. And then we get to do some stuff. Okay, let's load up our text editor. So we have a text editor. We like to use Notepad++. And you see that it's got settings JSON. There we go. There's the directory structure on our computer to the settings JSON file for VNYAN. But basically it's going to be users, your username, app data, local low, Savidriel, VNYAN, settings.json. First thing you want to do when you open this is save a copy. Save a backup. You can name that backup settings.json. Save it in the same location. Because if you screw this up, if you screw this file up so much as not putting a comma back where it belongs, it will default. And suddenly it'll be as if you never used VNYAN before, and all these settings will come up as default. Sometimes you can go in there and find your boo-boo and fix it, and then it'll come back, but I can't guarantee that that's going to work. So always make a backup of whatever text doc that you're working on before you mess with it, especially when it has all your camera settings. Now, speaking of which, you see we're already in a location where we have cameras. But if we start at the top, you're going to see all sorts of fun stuff here, like your VMC port and your anti-aliasing and your limiter values for your... I know, you're going to want to mess with it. Don't unless you have a specific reason for doing it. Instead, we're going to do Control F. Let's look up camera. And then you'll see that there's a bunch of them, and eventually... Sorry, I'll put it over here. Well, do a Control F, look for camera, find next, and we're still in spout cameras. And there, we finally found it, cameras. And then now, here's where we can make changes. So this is camera 1. See how it ends in cam 1? Yeah, it's kind of odd, the name's the last thing. But everything above cam 1 is camera 1, the locations, your X, your Y, your rotation degrees along the X-axis, and your rotation degrees on the Y-axis, and of course your Z rotation, which, yeah, we don't need to mess with. But you can see that we have a whole bunch of these. Now, we specifically went and made changes to camera number 12, 11, something like that. But we made changes to one of the cameras. So we're going to scroll down. Oh, there's camera 15, 14, 13, 12, 11. And you see there's an X value and a Y value. Now, if for some reason all you're seeing is your toes on your camera location, go to the one that you already know works, the one that you just moved, so like camera 11, Y value. Select the entire value. Do not select any carriage returns or anything like that, and copy it. And then go to the camera you know needs to have that Y value and paste it. Now, it's very easy to say these things. 1.67 blah blah blah. So if I paste this, so I select it and then paste it. The extra space isn't important, but for cleanliness, let's get rid of it. And you can see that that has got a different Y value. So my camera number 1 is not going to match the other ones. It's going to have a different value on its Y. So we're going to Control S to save it. Now this is where it gets kind of nitty gritty. We have VNYAN running right now, and as such, it's got a lock on the file. Now, if we want to be able to update this file, the problem is that when we close VNYAN, it saves the file at that time. So anything we just did isn't going to matter because we have VNYAN running, and when we close VNYAN, it's going to save the file and overwrite everything we did. Now, we're going to close VNYAN. Yeah, I know. Now you just have to hear me. And then we're going to come back over here and, oh, look what it says. It's modified by another program. Do you want to reload it? Well, if you want to keep your numbers, no. So hit no, and then Control S to save, and then we need to reload VNYAN. And we're waiting for VNYAN to reload. So this is camera number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is camera 5. This is camera 2. And you see how camera 1's up here? That's because we changed its Y value. Now, we don't want to be floating up in the air. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back, and in this case, we're going to close VNYAN first, because this is the way that makes more sense. Close VNYAN, and then do I want to update it? Well, it's because it just saved it. No, we don't want to update it right now. And instead, we're going to go to the Y value we had in camera number 2, because we know that's the one we want. We're going to copy it, and then we're going to come up here to the Y value for camera number 1, and we're going to paste it, and we're going to make sure there's no extra commas, no quotes, because this whole thing here is formatted specifically. We have open parens and close parens. We have quotes and end quotes, and we have all these things that are very specific to a programming language. This is it's not really programming. This is a JSON file, which means it's a formatted file that has name and value pairs. They're surrounded by parentheses. You have a I'm not going to get into it. I mean, you basically you have a tag, and then you have its value, and its value is a bunch of variables and the values that go into them. So we have changed this back, and we're going to hit Control S, and then we're going to come back over to VNYAN, and we're going to load VNYAN. So the critical thing to remember here is that you either have to close VNYAN after you do the work and then ignore the request to update the file, or just have VNYAN closed when you do the work and then load VNYAN after you save the file. So now we're back here, camera number 5, camera number 2, camera number 1. And that's where it belongs. So that was really the solution to fix this little glitch that happened. I don't know why, but for some reason the Y values have been put on to a different central access point, I guess, in VNYAN. So if for some reason when you update your version of VNYAN, you end up with nothing but your ankle showing, this is how you fix it. This is also how you do precision camera location. So for example, I have these 3 different scales of camera, and they're located where I want them to be, but then I have them also over here mirrored so that I can be on both sides of the screen and know that my vertical is exactly the same as it was over there, and my horizontal is offset exactly the same as it was over there also. The only variable here is depending on where I sit in front of the camera. But that's something you really can't fix unless you bolt your chair to the floor, which makes things kind of uncomfortable at times. So yeah, that was a solution, how to precisely place your avatar in your VNYAN window here. And it was also the solution for what happens when VNYAN updates and for some reason the avatar positions get recentered at some other location. All right. I'm sure that at some point Suvi might, well, he might not. She, he, I don't know Suvi. I just call Suvi. Hi, Suvi. Like you're even going to see this. Anyway, I hope this video was helpful. I hope it, well, it probably wasn't very entertaining, but I hope it was educational, and I hope that, it helped you solve a problem. So, until next time, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope you're having a great time. and I hope to see you again real soon. Bye!